with your host, Amy Sparopoulos.
Welcome back to Local Memphis Live. As we celebrate National Recovery Month during September, our guest today is a testament that long-term recovery from drugs and alcohol, from anything for that matter, is indeed possible. Michael Cartwright has more than 23 years sober. He's live this morning to tell us how it is all possible to have believable hope. His new book, just out, 5 Essential Elements, is the CEO of American Addiction Centers, and through the book you will get a lot of tips that you will find to beat any addiction. And Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
No,
by the way.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Especially on a month like this.
Yeah, true. And all the way from Nash Vegas, as we like to call us. And this book is so fabulous because, and I do want to point this out, we're not just talking about alcohol addiction or drug addiction.
Correct.
You can be addicted to exercise or food or shopping.
But exercise is a fun one to be addicted to, right?
Well, this is true. Well, shopping is too, actually. No.
Right.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about, you do have a lot of history to support this. 23 years sobriety.
Actually, 25, October 5th.
Oh, 25.
Yeah, 25 October 5th.
Don't want to short you on that, my friend.
Right?
Congratulations
so
on that.
It really has been a wonderful journey. I struggled immensely when I was in my teens and early 20s and found recovery at an age of 23 years old, and it's been a wonderful journey since that time.
Wow, and such a testament to people that it is possible, that there is another way to break those chains of addiction.
There are so many people out there that are in recovery that you don't hear about. You hear about all the bad stories of people, out using and in trouble, all these overdoses that are occurring all over the United States. I think here in Memphis, it's one of your #1 problems in the city of Memphis.
Heroin.
And DeSoto County. Heroin is a huge problem in this county. And so you hear about all that, but what about the wonderful reclaiming your life, right, through recovery? I know so many people out there in the community that recovery does work. 10% of the population should not use alcohol and drugs.
Period.
Right. Genetically, people like myself should not use drugs and alcohol. We get addicted to just about anything, just like you said, shopping, exercise, a lot of different things. And so we need to find other ways to live our life. And that's what I needed to do, and that's what so many others are successfully doing. And that's what we need to celebrate during September Recovery Month, recovery does work.
And this book is so helpful, not only with someone who's suffering from addiction, but someone who is living with someone who is suffering from addiction. And oftentimes, my father was an alcoholic, and in fact died from the disease. And I can tell you from that standpoint, it is sometimes harder for family members who are living with that. And how do they start?
The first thing we have to do is acknowledge there's a problem. So many times in families we keep it a secret. Let's don't talk about it, right? And we need to open up and talk about it and ask for help, right? Your local pastor, ask for help. Your school counselor, ask for help. Like, try to get the loved one that is struggling the help they need. Many times they don't see it themselves. Many times you need outside help or interventionists that can come in and support that family and encourage them to get the help that they need, and get them in a recovery program. Get them in a treatment center. There's lots of great options here in Memphis, Tennessee. We have a treatment center in Mississippi, in northern Mississippi, called Oxford Center. There's lots of options out there, but the first thing to do is recognize there's a problem. And that's what I talk about in my book, is really step one. Right? You have to realize that you have the problem before you can really start addressing it.
Humble yourself in sometimes cases. From your own personal experience and as the CEO of American Addiction Centers, talk a little bit about some common misconceptions with addiction and recovery specifically.
Well, I think one of the most common misperceptions is we think of criminals, right? People with addiction problems look like any
they live
American.
under the bridge or something.
Yeah, that you're homeless or something like that. No, people are struggling with addictions in the suburbs here in Memphis, Tennessee. They're going to work, they're taking pills, they're taking too many pills. There's a lot of functional alcoholics and addicts that are in our society every day that are struggling, and they really need help. And if we just had that lifeline to give them, right, where they knew that it's okay to talk about it, where their employer's not going to fire them, their loved ones aren't going to leave them, that they can maybe reach out and get the help they need.
Yeah, and getting rid of that stigma of silence, that to me is so dangerous. Because, and you know, growing up Southern Baptist, I did, and that while it's fine and it's wonderful, but a lot of times we sort of, my mother pushed things under the rug. If we don't talk about it, it'll go away, but it does not. In fact, it gets worse.
That's true. That's true, and that's what we have to do. As a community, we have to say, it's okay to have this problem, but how can we now help you? How can we help you get better? And so, as a community, I think we have come a long way. When I look back over the last 25 years, how far our country has come. You look at the presidential election, both candidates are talking about addiction as a major problem in the United States. All the candidates are out there realizing. Here in Congress, we just passed some wonderful bills recently about the opioid epidemic that the Senate just passed, the Recovery Act. So we have things out there. I think society is starting to wake up and realize that it's okay to talk about it, and because you got to start talking about it to get people the help they need.
And to save lives.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. We are thrilled and honored that you're here. Thank you so much. You can pick up the book right now, Believable Hope. Michael Cartwright with Kim Abraham, 5 Essential Elements to Beat Any Addiction. Create the life you love. Indeed. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Coming up, we are headed back